I'd like to start with a minig in Klal Yisrael that is well known, but I believe tonight's shir will make that minig have more meaning to it. There are 3 times in the year when people eat kreplach. Shefer, how do you say that in English?
Dumplings.
Dumplings. No, I don't think that dumplings works because dumplings probably, matzo balls will also be dumplings, right? No? It has to be stuffed?
Something with a...
Okay, so fine. So why do we eat? When do we eat them? We eat them 3 times a year. Purim?
Rav Yom Kippur.
Yeah.
And Mishnah Berurah.
Right. So why do we eat them at these 3 times? Something's hidden. That these Yom Tovim, that's one of the reasons. These Yom Tovim are, we say, understated. And the Yontif is hidden. So therefore we eat something which is hidden. The other reason, which is said, since we're being Jewish, so we'll just say one of the other reasons, whenever you bang, then you eat kreplach. Okay? You bang al chet, you bang on Haman, and you bang the Hashanahs. Okay? So, but all these reasons, they have explanations, but the bottom line is that Erev Yom Kippur, I don't think that people, by and large, understand the magnitude of the day. And I recall when I came to Eretz Yisrael the first time that I saw the Yerushalmi people wearing their kittles on Erev Yom Kippur, I was taken aback. But I don't probably see that much around over here. But if you go to Yerushalayim on Erev Yom Kippur, you'll see that it's a yontif with a shtreimel, with a kittel, and it's the real deal, so to speak. And this is what we're going to learn about today. Now, I'm going to start with my favorite Hebrew word, which is ki'ilu, and I'm going to share with you a machlekes rishonim about ki'ilu and its application to the subject of today. Okay, it says mitzvah lechol b'erev Yom Kippurim laharbas b'suda. It's a mitzvah to eat and to be marba b'suda. Is that the same thing or not the same thing? That's also discussion in the Achrayim. There are those who eat raisins and nuts a whole day and nibbling all the time. Or is the idea to have a suda? We're going to leave that. We're not going to get involved in that. How important that? We say it's a mitzvah. Is that a mitzvah d'oraisa, a mitzvah d'rabbanan, a nice thing to do? How do we label that thing? So it's something very surprising. The Mishnah Berurah gives us a surprising idea. That's what the Bible says. Sounds like you're supposed to be fasting on the 9th day. That can't be. Yom Kippurim eino ela ba'asar l'chodesh. So it can't be. We're not learning about Taisus Yom Kippur. We'll learn about that at a different time. Kiblu Chazal, Da'adarabba, mitzvah min haTorah. Very, very strong. Mitzvah min haTorah, lechol be'erev Yom Kippur. Mitzvah from the Torah. Not all places can agree that it's d'oraisa. Some say it's a d'rabbanan. V'rotza kadosh baruch hu liten schar ba'ad achilo ki'ilu his'aneh. Now my ki'ilu is starting to come in. We want to give you schar for your eating like you're fasting. Now this is very difficult to understand, and I'm going to share with you why. L'chayra, and this seems to me, even though I've seen in the Achrayim that they discuss it, I find this almost impossible to understand. We know that there's a concept of lefum tzara agra. You do a mitzvah, you work hard for the mitzvah, so you get more schar. How does that work? Is there the mitzvah has more schar, or there's the mitzvah, and then there's effort? You know, is it one
reward?
Is it one reward, or is it 2 rewards, and they're really just in tandem one to the other or not? But I think that by and large most of the Achrayim hold that the mitzvah itself is enhanced by the schar that it's done. So can anybody tell me that you have the same amount of schar for eating as fasting? That's like a little bit difficult for me to... What?
Unless you don't like eating and eating.
Yes, yeah. So then you probably like fasting, and then we're back to the same question. Just the other way around.
Not necessarily. Some people don't like eating all day.
It's probably harder to eat.
What?
Malachim don't eat. People in Yom Kippur are like malachim.
So far, so good.
That's it.
Well, I didn't get the thought,
Malachim don't eat.
and therefore.
So on Yom Kippur we eat. Like malachim. They force themselves. Continue on the bigger thing.
Okay.
It's harder to eat the Shem Shemaim than it is to fast the Shem Shemaim.
Who said about Shem Shemaim?
Whatever.
Wait, why is this different than Yontif? I don't know. Where does Shem Shemaim get into this? You're a very religious guy. Where that?
Don't we say that the reason you say you eat it before you eat is because you're so afraid of the Yom Din you can choke? So
Yeah.
the person that Madrega would be talking difficulty. If you're that afraid of Yom Din.
Okay, that's a beautiful thought. That thought is expressed in the Chassidish adage. Twice a year there's a Sunnah Mafsekes. One doesn't want to eat, and the other one, the person doesn't have an appetite to eat. But for some reason, when we have a Sunnah Mafsekes, it's not at a time that we're about to indulge. But nonetheless, you didn't finish off the thought, and therefore you would like to suggest that it's as painful as fasting?
It's difficult. It's painful.
No. So I'm saying I'm asking a question that
So it doesn't have to be the same as painful.
no, I understand, but no, it's comparable. It's related to it's ki'ilu, right? So here we have this ki'ilu,
I would put it another way. Eating, you're doing something. Fasting, you're just not doing something.
I'm asking to every word you said. What's the thought? And therefore,
So it's a mitzvah of a shev al tasa. So eating is you actually have to make an action for it. That's usually.
so and therefore, what's the other thought?
Is that more valuable?
I don't know if it's more valuable or less valuable. It's supposed to be the same. Roitza liten schar bar ha'achila ki'ilu hisane. So, if you whatever you're going to come to that's not going to be equal, I'm a little bit uncomfortable. Okay, I'm just pointing this out.
I seem to remember hearing once while reading, it doesn't really make sense to me, but what I remember is that actually the more you eat, it makes it more difficult to fast.
Yes.
So eating a lot on Erev Yom Kippur somehow exalts, if that's the right expression, what we're doing through the fasting, because it's much harder.
Okay, that explanation is given by some Achrayim. I just find it difficult. First, I have a few. Yes, it says what you're saying. First, I acknowledge that it says what you're saying. I find that a very difficult explanation for a few reasons. First of all, how much is one obligated to eat on Erev Yom Kippur? No one ever thought about that.
Well, it's people with the second candy all day.
It's the half of the sunnah. What's that mean? More meals, more meals.
What does it mean?
More
It's,
than usually.
now it could be that there's a minimum, and could be there's a maximum, and could be there's no maximum, right? There knows it's an open-ended thing, right? What?
Achilles Kasa is like that's when you pass the
That's I understand, but until you get to Achila Gasa, now it's how many calories, how many meals, right? No, it's if I eat for 6 hours, do I get more schar than if I ate for 5 hours? So what Mr. Faris is suggesting, if I ate like I eat every day, I would suggest I was probably yoitza the mitzvah of eating on Erev Yom Kippur, maybe not bihiduro, but I was for sure yaitza the mitzvah. According to the Minchas Chinuch, this is just to show you how beautiful the Torah is. What is the minimal share of how much you have to eat on Yom Kippur to be on Erev Yom Kippur to be yaitza? No, but you're almost in the right thought process. Seves pras, because it's the mirror of the fast. So here, the shiurim is ki'ilu asana, right? So you have to do the mirror. Normally, achilas are. It's always we take a gazais and a kibetza.
So is that Indian every 9 minutes to have another one?
No, I'm not talking about the minimum share. I'm talking about the minimum share. But in other words, it's really ki'ilu like you're fasting, right? No, it's almost laughable that the shear should be the shear of fasting in the mirror. It's not reverse. It's in the mirror image of it. Okay, that's the minimal amount. So the person who ate that amount, he definitely is not going to be bitzar over his bloated stomach the next day. But yes, it does say that reason. I find it a little bit difficult. Lo mishaneh.
Is the eating Erev Yom Kippur, Tisha B'Av, Sudas Yom Kippur? Sudan Yom Kippur, is that Suda Yom Kippur?
That's what the Shai Tshuva says.
So then it's Suda Shabbos as much as you want. Only, you don't want.
Okay, so it's Yontif, not so Shabbos. So then it's Simcha, right? Correct. No, that's for sure that you're yaitza if you ate a lot. The question is there a top and is there a bottom, right? In other words, when I was a bocher, so there was one guy in yeshiva who was a letz, and for Shalach Manis, he gave everyone one raisin and one sunflower seed. Okay? And there was a war in yeshiva if he's yaitza. No, he gave 100 of these. It wasn't that he gave because there's not a kazayas, does a beria, and this is this caused a lot of Purim Torah, you understand? This is but it was just for the, everyone was equal, everybody got the same exact shalach manas. Actually, anyway, so this is a little bit of a problem thing, but anyways, okay? But since it says Tanu, and learning Tanu over here means that you should fast, so we get schar according to the definition. Now, what I just said right now is impossible to understand from a simple point of view. In order for me to explain this Mishnah Berurah, I'd like to share with you a fascinating halacha, which, when I was younger, I used to say it makes absolutely no sense. Today I said it's the most beautiful halacha in the world. It's like mamish. There's a question when one shechts an animal that has wool. So there's a halacha in shechita that the makam or the chalif has to be exposed. It's called chaloda, and therefore they part the hair in a way that there's no problem, or in other places they shear it, and in other places they have the minhag and they would pull it out. They would be toilish the cyrus, and this is done by chickens. Many shchitas they have that they actually pull out the feathers. If you ever seen shchita, and those who know that chickens don't come from the freezer, they actually come from a pen, right? That's where they were born, right? Anyways, so they're pulled out, they're plucked out, and the question is if you're allowed to do that on Yontif. And the Gemara says, basically, it comes down to the question: if it's an Isser D'Oraisa, it's Aser, and if it's an Isser D'Rabbanan, it's Mutter. And the Marit in B'choros, he says it depends which malacha it is. If it's the malacha of Geizes, so then doing it by hand is called a Shinui, and it's only the Rabbanon. And if it's, I forgot what the other malacha is, then that's called, this is the Derech, and it's a D'Oraisa. Now you understand that you're doing the exact same thing. Take this to a different place. Those who know how to type, blind, what's it called?
Yeah.
What?
Touch type.
Yeah, but okay. So I would like to write the word as. I write the word as with my left hand.
Supposed to.
If you said I prefaced my statement. If you're doing typing blind, ASDF. Okay, if I'm typing blind, so we can write the word as. I'm doing it with my left hand. If somebody writes with their left hand, that's called a shinui.
He did it with his right hand.
He didn't do it with if you know how to type, you do it with your left hand, right? So is that an issue d'oraisa?
So why is left to left a shino? I understand.
Why is left to left what?
Why is left to left a shino? I misunderstood something.
No, you didn't. You understood 100% correct. Normally, writing with your left hand is called a shinui.
But here it's not. Okay.
So, but if I'm writing the word as, I'm writing it correctly. Is that called a shinui or not? Because in this mode of writing, it's the way to do it. So the Or Samach discusses this question. He doesn't discuss the typewriter, but he discusses: is the shinui dependent on the situation or dependent on the av? Now, this is, a fascinating.
Why would you think it doesn't depend on the situation?
Not only why do I think, why isn't it like that? I just told you the Maritzgeya says
Why
it.
is it like that? Shinoi, by definition, means it did something different. If you type with your left hand on AS, you didn't do anything different.
I understand. But the question is do we look at the situation or do we look at the classic? That's the question. That's the question. So you ask me why. There are many things which you do because that's the way you always do it. And even when it becomes a b'diavad situation, you'll still continue doing it that way because that's where you're comfortable. So if a malacha is categorized as the av is done, so you have a weird situation. That's just called a weird situation. It's irrelevant. There will always be situations that are weird, that they don't fit into. It's a question of which one and how do we do it. And so sometimes it goes by the rule, and sometimes it goes by the situation that you have to know in each case. Anyways, why am I telling this to you? Because if we're going to call this mitzvah a mitzvah of achila, you're going to get less schar. If we call this mitzvah a mitzvah of tainus, you get more schar, even though your belly is just as full or empty either way. Schar!
Yeah, but what?
That's what the Mishnah Berurah says. Since it's called, so we said what you did now. Can I ask you a question? You're not good because you're an Englishman. Those who come from America know when you say it's really bad. What did you say? It's really good, right?
That doesn't make sense.
The baddest.
It's like that doesn't make sense to call it tanis if it's really eating.
So that's what I'm telling you. It's semantics. I want to ask you a question. That's why I gave you this example of pulling off the wool. It's not semantics. It's under which category we view it.
Right, but how can you categorize eating as fasting?
Oh, so it's okay. That wasn't the question. That wasn't perhaps I will.
So if it's not semantics, fine.
No. I will. That's a different question than the question we're addressing. So the reason why we use this lashon is because by using this lashon, we can give you schar as if you're fasting. Now you have a respectable question.
But eating is clearly a fasting.
What? No, but it's since we're learning it out of his anu, that it means on the ninth day you should do this act of eating, and we will perceive it like fasting, so therefore we have a right to give you schar as if you. Now you have a question, how could we ever, that's a good question, but that's not the question, that's not the tachana that we're at right now, and the answer is that there's an aspect of it, and this is where I would ask you, you eat your cholent on Shabbos because it's Oinik Shabbos, and you eat your cholent on Shabbos because you like it. How do I know? Because if I give you chicken feet, you wouldn't eat them.
Isn't it? When the Torah says Taros after Seichem, it's not a...
I didn't say that to the people that know what chicken feet are. But for those who know what chicken feet are, that's a delicacy. Right? Yeah.
Isn't it? When the Torah says Taros after Seichem, when we're saying that it's the ninth day, doesn't that mean that eating is Taros after Seichem?
I don't know. Maybe. Maybe.
The Torah calls it that. We don't have to go...
Maybe, I don't know. That's like asking me to tell me something if Yontif is Yom Simchaschem, so are you automatically happy? You don't have to answer the question. We'll leave it.
I cannot relate to eating as if you're fasting. I can relate to eating as a tzar. Because every time we eat, it's a tzar. Because it's a curse you have to eat. It really is a tzar.
Okay. All right. I perhaps I could answer that question. Why it is like that? All right.
Also ki'ilu.
It's a ki'ilu, and this is where the word ki'ilu. There's a machlokes rishonim if a person can actually fast for both days. Should he fast for both days? Do you say that it's ha'oichel b'chi'i is ki'ilu hisani chi'i v'asiri, and that the reading of that Maimar Chazal, the simplistic way of reading it, makes it clear that if you could theoretically fast for 2 days, that would be better because this is only ki'ilu. But what's the real deal? The real deal is to fast for 2 days. And there are others that say no. The avoida of chi is to eat, and by eating on chi, you have accomplished the same thing as fasting on asiri. And I would just like to share with you a simple understanding of this. Perhaps I had once a discussion with a doctor, a neonatal specialist, about babies that are jaundiced, yellow, and when to do the bris. And he read all of his Heilige journals from the American Medical Society, which there's nothing greater than that, perhaps. And he was convinced that there's absolutely nothing wrong until whatever, you have to make a blood transfusion, not get involved in his thing. And most of the poskim disagree with that. And in the course of our conversation, this is a professional conversation, not a halachic conversation, I said, I'd like to ask you a question. Have you ever noticed that babies that are yellow eat less than babies that aren't? So he said, yes, I've noticed that. I said, why is that? He said, I have absolutely no idea. I said, you have no idea? You have no idea? When you're sick, do you eat? He said, no. Well, I don't know why a doctor could miss that. The answer is because he reads too many journals. That's why he missed it, right? Right? No, I'm not proving anything one way or the other, right? But let's move on. This is a mashal. The nimshal is a person who has a din that his life depends on it, is not in the mood of eating. It's not. It's repulsive. It's repulsive. He doesn't want to eat. To eat on chi means that you're in a place that you shouldn't be, or you're in a place where you should be. That you are batuach, and this is what the Medrash says. The Medrash says we are batuach, that we're going to be yoitze, the din zakai, and that's why we have this fast before. And this is the first tour in Hilchos Yom Kippur. I've discussed this. Perhaps I should read it at this time. I've discussed this many times on Yom Kippur night. I guess the tour qualifies as halachas sefer, so it's okay. You can read it. Shana. Here. Vu me'avas Hashem Yisbarach es Yisrael shelo tzivu l'sanas ela yom echad b'shana uletavosam ulechaper avonosam v'tzivam sheyachlu v'yishlu tchila kedei sheyachlu l'sanas v'lo yazik lehem ha'inoi mashal hamelech shehaya lo ben yochid, etc. Now umevi hamedrash ma'isa b'shoiter ha'ir she'amar la'avno kreli dogim v'lo motza el dog echad v'noisnu bo yizohuv hayasham Yehudi chayat v'hoysev olav he albidden ad she'eleh l'chamisha v'nishel l'chayat, and the chayat was the one who won the auction. Ubo eved al adoinu v'siper lo kol ha'mo'era. So here we have the guy, the justice. He was bested by this Jew. What do you do? He said, Chayat. He said, Chayat? Why do you spend on a dog that shava 1 zohuv, 5 zohuvim? You can't afford that. You had the audacity to do that? I would have bought it for 10. כדי לאכלו ביום כזה שציווה הקדוש ברוך הוא לאכול ולשתות, שאנו בטוחים שהקדוש ברוך הוא יכפר לנו לעוונותינו. I have no bad mood matzav that I don't want to eat on Erev Yom Kippur. Amaloi ken yafa asiso poter v'halach l'shalom. It's a fascinating medrash, right? So this is an idea of understanding the to get to this place is an unbelievable thing. So there's an aspect of an inui because nobody really wants to eat at this time. Okay. I'm going to learn the Rambam. V'asa lis'anes boy afilu tairis chaloim v'nar lis'anes that won't do anything. Next halacha.
Does that mean that fasting 2 days is usher?
Machlekes. I think we paskin that it's usher. It's machlekes Rabbeinu Gershom and somebody else in the beginning of Yom Kippurim. Ein noifim al pneiim be'erev Yom Kippurim. We don't say tachnun. Why don't we say tachnun? Yontif. Why is it Yontif? Because you don't say tachnun, right? It's like a circular Jewish logic, right? Ve'enom lamatzeach u'mizmon l'soida. We don't say mizmon l'soida. Why don't we say mizmon l'soida? Because we can't eat the korban. Now, which is a fascinating thing, right? Because we're not really bringing a korban, and there's no chash that you can have nicer on your tefillah, but we fashion it after the korban. V'gamein ayrim kaidam alay sashacha harbe slichos v'yesh v'kamen shenagim b'harbes v'slichos achal fi aminik. U'liyin amir savinu malkeinu. Because we don't say Avinu Malkeinu on like Shabbos and Yom Tif. Yesh bo machlokes ben achronim ba'aminig irish shelo la'omro kim keshachal b'Yom Kippur b'Shabbos, and then we say it. Okay. Let's just see the Mishnah Berurah, the fine print over here. Elev avneim denoigam asoyso ksas k'mo Yom Tif. Agav, there's a machlokes hapoiskim if the mitzvah of eating on Erev Yom Kippur starts at night. Most poskim say it starts in the morning. You don't say Mishum Dechsev B'Yom Tzorah, and it's not a Yom Tzorah, it's a Yom Tif. Umizmon Asoida, the Bizman Shabbos V'Nidish also l'hakiv shum korban hanechal be'erev Yom Kippurim. The Mamayit Zman Achilosai. You're not allowed to bring it then because you're Mamayit in the amount of time that people can eat it, and therefore it may come to nicer, so therefore we don't bring it. They did, yes, that they have to bring. שהקורבנות כל הקורבנות זכרם יום ולילה של האחרו ויום כיפורים יהיה של לאכול נמצא מי בידי פסול. Okay.
Even though people would eat more that day.
Yes, there's a fascinating. This is many mishnayos about this idea. It's called you're being mevi kachim l'day psul by compromising the time, even though you have over here an army of people that are yeah. Okay. All right. The next thing I'm going to do this because. I'd like to share with you, I said a share someplace today, and I spoke about the place of going to the Kaisel in Yiddishkeit. How important is going to the Kaisel? What do you say? A machlokes? I don't know if there's a machlokes. I don't know. Maybe there is. I'm not aware. What?
The risk sheet is not to go, is that correct?
I don't know. I've been there with my Rashiva more than one time. I don't know the brisk don't go. The Satmars don't go. But that's only after 48, not after 67. It's after 48. They don't go because the reason we have the Kaisel today is because the Tzionim got it back, and therefore we don't want to have something that the Tzionim, so we lost it at 48, so they don't go. But
you can't get close to the Dakota, is that right?
Close? Who says you have to get close? Tell me something. Were you ever at a bris here in Shul? Where did you stand?
Whether it was moved, no in particular.
Were you here?
In the Shul, yeah.
You said you were here by the bris, right? So if you're by the Kaisel, it works.
People don't put notes in, people kiss the coat.
That's another subject. That's another subject. That's not this subject. Going to the Kaisel, the Makom the Pas HaShulchan says that the tefillas are niskabel over there, like in the Beis HaMikdash. Okay. No, he says that this is nishar lanu in the Beis HaMikdash, and so it's a special. The Medrash Rabbah says that Lezaz Ashchina from there, whatever the Kaisel is a, but all it is a great inyan. So how important is it? So Gedali Yisrael said you shouldn't be mevatel Torah to go there. If you want to go there on your excursion, you want to go there because you need a boost, whatever. I'm not right now discussing going to the Kaisel, but it's not right. There are minhagim which became larger than life. Perhaps the two greatest of those are things that our parents never heard of. One is going to Uman on Rosh Hashanah, and the other is going to Meron on Lag BaOmer. Stama, those two minhagim. Now I do recall, I have a friend, a Breslover, for 40 years, and he told me this year they maxed out. They had 2,000 people in Uman. They have that on a thimble nowadays in Uman. I mean, I don't know what's going on. Since Corona, there's been every year some other. They're there.
Yeah.
They're there. That's not a problem. There's no war there, by the way. It's over 600 miles away from the war. Are you in a war?
Yeah.
What?
Every day.
What?
Every day.
Every day. Okay, but you understand what I'm saying. There, it's 600 miles from the border, from the border of the war, and not only that, we're not going to get involved, but they're pushing into Russia. The war is going the other way. Anyways, the bottom line, kaparas is only a minute, and this is something which consumes many people in Klal Yisrael, and many people in Klal Yisrael even do it the wrong way. Now, I just want to make it clear, I'm not here to say that one shouldn't do the minhagim, because I believe that many minhagim give people the impetus, the connection for their Yiddishkeit, and it goes under the banner of bitulei zel kiyumoy, and it should be done. But you have to also understand that it doesn't change its value. Masha noagim masos kapora be'erev Yom Kippur lishko tarnagol al kol ben zochar v'loimer lo psukim yesh limnoa haminik. How's that for a nice Litvish Sfardi? Right? That's the Beis Yosef says. Now, we in Ramat Beit Shemesh are challenged, and this is a challenge of the last 50 years. When I grew up, Kaparas was done next to the Shechita. That was normal. They shechted a deer on the spot, checked if it was kosher, but again, this is before chickens came from the freezer. This is a different generation. So here, what happens is people do kaparas, they put them back in the box and they ship them off to Auschwitz. I don't know where they send them to exactly, and people do not have the minig done in fruition. In full, they're missing out on many aspects, and the question always arises: so, how much should a person drive himself crazy? There is a place in Bet Shemesh. I know there's more than one place in Bet Shemesh. They actually do have a shechita, and you can go watch it. If I'm not mistaken, there's a place in the Kiryah. There's a place in the old Bet Shemesh that I think the Rabbanut makes a place also. There is a possibility, but the idea, the concept, is that when the chicken is being shechted, the person is supposed to think that that's supposed to be me, and it's supposed to be being ma'ir him. But if you just do it and put it in a box and ship it off, it's a bit missing.
It's swinging it around your head and thinking it's you.
Okay, perhaps. All right. B'yesh mi'hagoyim shekosug minik zeh. The Ramah sticks up for the minik. He says that goyim will say we should do it. V'chei kosu rab min achrayim, v'chei nogim b'chol medinos elu. I know there are many people who come from Ashkenazi places that they didn't do this. What? The Germans didn't do it. V'ein l'shanos ki hu minig vasikin. Look at that. The Mechaber says b'mavatul minig. The Ramah says chas v'shulam. Right? V'nogim nikol tarnagol zachar l'zachar v'nekev the tarnagolis v'loichem uber shtei tarnagolim ulai telet zachar.
What does that mean?
It means that this has been embraced by the Gedolei Hadoros.
How long does that have to be?
The time of the Geonim. It's already the Geonim is 1,000 years. What?
1,000 years.
1,000 years, yeah.
Rashi talks about the plant.
Rashi is well after the Geonim.
Right, same.
All right. Now, ubocharim b'tarnagolim levonim. If you could take it, you should get a white one, because it says that your chatayim should turn into white. V'nogolita kaporas la'aniyim or levdosam b'moinim v'nos la'aniyim. And you're not supposed to benefit from them. You're supposed to, as a korban, and give it the money to aniyim. Okay. V'yesh noagim leilech ala kvoras u'laharbas b'tzedakah. Now, I feel obliged to. Last night I was at 1:30 in the morning. I was on the phone to America about. It seems that there are people that have this idea that they light candles, Liluya Nishas, certain tzaddikim, and this way they get rid of negative ruchnius forces. And there was a question whether this is permissible or it's avodah zarah. That was going on in my house at 1:30 last night, and I had to give some background to the people that were involved in this, and I quote halacha in Hilchos Rosh Hashanah. The Mishnah Berurah says that a person is supposed to go on Erev Rosh Hashanah to the Beis HaKvaros to be mispalo. What are you supposed to be mispalo? To whom are you supposed to be mispalo? Why do we go to the Beis HaKvaros to be mispalo? Because that's what everybody does. Here we go. The Briskers don't do that, right? They're very strongly against going to the Beis HaKvoros. Yeah. V'yesh mekoymos noagin lelech al hakvoros ulahar b'sham b'tchinois v'noisen stok al aniyim. I would just like to make an important statement. There are many people who go to Kvorim and they have a gyroid in their head. They have to go be mispal a certain place, and they see these aniyim around this. So I'm going to go be mispal, and afterwards I'm going to give you money. This is atzas hayetzer. It says in all the Svar Makadoshim, when someone goes to a kever, one should give money before and then be mispal. So the Yetzer Hara, isn't that great? It's always chapsorain, right? He doesn't miss a halacha. He's not like us, right? He gets you, I'll do it later. And this takes away from the potency of your tefillah. So here the Mishnah Berurah says, why do you go to Beis HaKvoros? The Beis HaKvoros hu mokom menuchas hatzadikim v'hatfila niskavla sham yoser. Just like you daven in a shul. Why do you daven in a shul? It's a holier place, so you get more bang for your buck. Ach al yosim magmosa neged hamesim. You're not mispalel to the deceased. Ach yevakesh me Hashem yizborch sheyiten olav rachamim b'schus hatzadikim shechnei alfor. It's very important that we should have this clear. We're not mispalel to them that they do for us something. Whether you can use them as an emissary to mispalel to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, that you could look in the Akdama to the art scroll Slichas that pulled this on that subject. Okay, let's stop over here.